Do you have a ton of these growing in your garden and just don't know what to do with them? Or maybe you're tired of making the same old dish? Well, I'm going to show you how you can make this great dish with the zucchini and chickpeas, and then you can repurpose it and create 7 new meals. I'm going to show you how easy that's going to be, and that'll get you set for the whole week. Pronto? Allora andiamo a cucinare. So for this recipe, I'm actually making a double batch. But in the recipe below, I will list a single. But I do like to make a double because the amount of our family, and then I do plan to use it for leftovers throughout the week. I don't like to cook every single night. I don't have time. So we are going to start by cutting an onion. And in a hot saute pan, add just a couple tablespoons of olive oil and add our diced onions. So to that, we want to add about a teaspoon of salt. I'm adding 12 cloves of garlic, but the regular recipe is 6 cloves. I like a lot of garlic, so that's my preference. But if you don't like as much garlic, you could add 2 cloves or 4 cloves. But we are going to add 6, and again, I'm doubling this recipe, so it's 12. And we want to toss our garlic in and just stir it all up to incorporate. All right, so now we're going to add our bell peppers. Again, look for the bottom. 4 is a female, sweeter pepper. 3 bumps is a male, not so sweet. So to cut a bell pepper, we want to cut the base, and then we want to cut the top. And then starting on the one side, cut open, and just cut the ribs as you go around, and as you cut the ribs, it will open up. Then all you have is just this that you discard. And you can go back through and clean up any parts that you might have missed. And we just cut long angles. This is great if you want to cut them for fajitas or any type of a dish where you need long peppers, a dip. And you just take a few at a time and dice. Then our tops, we just take the green part out. We just cut them in long pieces, turn it around, and just create dice pieces as well. Bottom, same thing. And then you have no waste on your bell peppers. All right, so next we want to cut our zucchini. So we can cut the little end off, the top and the bottom. We want to slice them in half long ways. And then slice them in half again, lengthwise. And then cut them in about, I don't know, half-inch pieces. Now I'm going to add a couple teaspoons of oregano. A couple teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Stir that all up to incorporate. Now I'm going to add some tomato sauce, and this is just a puree tomato sauce. Now we're going to add our zucchini, as well as our chickpeas, and just get everything all stirred up and well incorporated. And then I'm just going to cover, and we're just going to continue cooking probably for about another 10 or 15 minutes until the zucchini are cooked all the way through, and then we're just going to test for seasoning. While we're waiting for our food to cook, we're going to get the garnishes ready. So we're going to start with a scallion, and we just want to dice this into small, thin pieces. Okay, and we'll set that aside. Then we want to get a few pieces of basil, about 6 or 8 leaves, and chiffonade those. And so here's our basil, nice and chiffonade, which is just a French fancy term for thinly sliced. Okay, and then just some parsley. I'm just going to grab a bunch and twist. And we just want to finely chop this. And we'll set that aside. And last but not least, we're going to add our acid to the dish. I love to add lemon to my dish to finish it off. I just find that it just adds another depth of flavor to your dish. So I'm just going to slice some lemons here. And they also make for beautiful garnishes on your plate so that your guests can actually add more lemon if they like it with more of a lemon flavor or not. Don't forget to taste for salt, and you can definitely add some fresh cracked pepper. Okay, so we've been cooking for about 10-15 minutes, and I just tested for salt and pepper. The zucchini is perfectly cooked. So now at this point, I'm going to add my parsley. I'm going to add the basil. I'm going to take it off the heat. and just fold all the fresh herbs in so that the oils can release themselves from the heat and give a lot of flavor to this. And I'm going to squirt about 1/4 of my lemon in here and just mix to incorporate. Okay, so we are all done. We can see our bean and zucchini dish is ready. It is perfectly hot. Now this alone would make for a perfect vegetarian dish, but we are gonna serve it with some chicken and some rice. And a lot of times when I make rice, I do double the recipe because I can use it throughout the week for other things. So right here we have a great dinner, chicken rice and the bean and zucchini. Again, we could serve it alone as a vegetarian dish. That'd be perfectly good. But I'm gonna show you now how to make 7 more ways to repurpose this, so every night of the week is gonna be a different meal. So let me show you all the choices that I came up with. And we just wanna get our omelet nice and fluffy. And to that, I'm gonna add some of our filling on the bottom half here. I'm gonna add some grated cheese. I like to add a few green onions. And then we're going to flip our omelet and we're gonna plate it. And I like to add a little sour cream on the top and a few more green onions on the top. And there we have a great breakfast for dinner, or this could be your breakfast. So there's one more great meal for the week. And this would be great if you wanted to include a side salad. So another dish that you can make is we can cook up some pasta. You can pick whatever pasta you prefer. I happen to like penne, so I'm gonna add some penne to my bowl. And I'm gonna add a couple scoops of the bean and zucchini. And again, you can add however much pasta or however much filling you want. Mix it up until it's evenly combined. And we can even throw a little bit of fresh parsley on top. Give it that fresh summer taste. All right, and there is one more dish for the week. And of course, you can top that with some Parmesan cheese. Another dinner option are tacos. And this would be a great way of using up not only the bean and zucchini, but also any of that rice that you have left over. Another reason that I always make up extra rice. So we are going to start with a little bit of rice on our taco. And of course, our tacos aren't that big, so we don't have to add too much. Add some of that filling. And of course, we can dress it up with whatever we like. So I like to add a little bit of cabbage, some onion, a little bit of cilantro, some purple onion, give it some color, a little bit of sour cream, an avocado, a little bit of cheese. And you can put whatever you'd like on these tacos. And so there we have our one taco. Now, if you decide that you wanted to do a carb-free, because I know some people like to do carb-free tacos, we can just grab a piece of romaine lettuce, a small one that's nicely cupped, and basically add the same stuff in here. So there we go. We have a carb-free and a corn tortilla taco for taco night. So there's another great meal that we can have. Another option for this dish, if you're like me, I like to snack throughout the day. So I love bread and I love cheese. So one of the things that I like to do is I just have a little crostini and I add just a soft cheese. I will spread it on the base. And to that, I will just add a little bit of this. Now I know it seems like it might be an odd combination, but it's actually really good. I do a lot of appetizers with beans on it, and everybody loves them. There we have a great little appetizer of beans and vegetables, so it's healthy, and it will actually sustain you. So I usually make a couple of these and I'll snack on them, and that'll be my lunch. So there's another option for you. All right, another option is stuffed bell peppers. So you can figure out how many bell peppers you want per person if you're gonna serve something else or if this is gonna be the main meal. But usually what I'll do is I'll take a couple scoops of my filling, and this is where that extra rice comes into play that I make throughout the week, and I'll probably take a couple spoonfuls of rice. And then I'll just kind of mix it all up, and you can add however much rice versus the bean and zucchinis that you want. If you like more rice, add more rice. If you want more filling, add more filling. It's whatever works for you. And then we just take our filling and we add it to our bell peppers, and we want to fill it as much as we can. So I'm going to place this in an oven, 350 degrees, for about 30 to 45 minutes until the pepper gets soft. I did put a couple tablespoons of water. I want to create a steam bath for it. I am going to cover it with foil. And then about 5 or 10 minutes before it's done, I'll take it out, uncover it, and add some cheese to the top. Okay, so our next dish is going to be burritos. So I like to start, I just use a canned enchilada salsa, so whichever one you like. I'm just going to add a little bit at the base. And I'm going to get my tortillas. I'm going to add some of that rice again that I made. And then add a couple scoops of my filling. And we're just going to roll that up and place that in our dish. So now that we have all our tortillas filled, now we're just scoop on some more of that enchilada sauce. We're going to cover it with foil and bake it in the oven until the sides are all bubbly. Should be anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. All right, so now we're going to make our soup. That is another dish that I like to do with this. And again, you can add as much or as little as you have left over. And you can also add other things to this. So if you have some carrots or mushrooms or other things left over during the week, you can by all means add that to it. I don't have too much right now. Usually I have mushrooms, but I don't. But I did buy a cabbage because I love cabbage. So I'm just going to slice the cabbage in small, thin slices. And I'm just going to add that to my soup. And again, you can add as much as you'd like. I think that will be enough for this. And then we just want to add some broth to it. Now this will be very flavorful because we flavored the beans and the zucchini and everything in here, so it'll be a very flavorful soup. And of course adding the broth is also going to give flavor. So you want to add just enough broth to cover. All right, let's just kind of mix that up. And I think that should be enough. Now normally I would probably do this in a stock pot, but because this is already dirty, I'm just going to do it in here. Now I am going to cover this and let it cook, and we'll see how much the cabbage cooks down, and if I need to add more broth I can, and then I will taste it for seasoning. All right, now our soup is done, so we can plate this. And I ended up having some rice left over, so I just threw my rice in here as well. Again, you can just add everything that's left over in your soup, and that can be your meal for the end of the week. It's a great way to use up your leftovers. And so to that, I'm just going to add some parsley for color, add a few pieces of green onion, and some cheese. And you've got a beautiful, healthy, and nutritious soup. And it was a great way of using your leftovers as well. Well, I hope I've inspired you to make this one dish and get 8 other meals from it that will last throughout the whole week. Even though, like I said, we started with the main one, we were able to create these 8 different types of dishes. It's a great way to repurpose. Now, even though I did say in the beginning to double the recipe, it is going to depend on the size of your family and how much food they eat. And if you have teenage boys or teenage girls that eat an exorbitant amount of food, you will have to alter that. But you might want to try to double the recipe and just see what you can get and try just a few of these dishes. I mean, you know, the possibilities are endless, and I would love to hear comments from you on what you were able to do by repurposing this meal. Until next time, ciao, ci vediamo dopo. Yay! It's a wrap.